Hi everyone, I'm Femi, aka Femo. I've just walked here all the way from Cambridge station, so I'm quite tired actually. We made the mistake of not taking the bus. Today I'm going to talk a bit about the Young Coders Meetup, and it's essentially a meetup for young people that happened from January last year through to about July, and we'll talk a bit about what's next for us, what we're doing, and what awesome apps have come out of it. So just a bit of background on me. I'm actually really excited to be here at CamJam because my first ever talk was at CamJam about 5 years ago when I was 9. I did my first talk about the festival code by Young Rewired State, and it's a bit nervous, but now I've done loads of talks across the world. Like in San Francisco, I did a talk at the Red Hat Summit in 2018. 2017. I've been to China, frankly, in October, so not recently. Done some talks there, and I'm most proud of the talk I did for the government in Thailand with like some heads of states and things like that there. So that was really awesome. So I've come a long way since I did my first talk at CamJam. Talk a bit about the Young Coders Meetup. So it started with the Young Coders Conference way back in, February 2017, and essentially the idea was there were a couple of young people in the community who've been running workshops at jams like this for quite a while, maybe 2 years, and we're sort of like, hey, all of the teachers, my mum is a teacher actually, and she gets all of this CPD style training, and she's been going to all of these really cool meetups, and those young people were like, hey, we're running workshops, we want a bit of training, and we want to meet up, get together and form our own community. And so we thought Young Coders Conference would be a great place to start that. We invited 12 young people from across the UK, and we all got together for a 2-day event at Cape Modern, and it's pretty awesome. Microgrid Foundation were there, Computer Schools did a session on teaching and learning pedagogy, so it's quite interesting, and out of it we made 4 new microgrid workshops. And then we kind of came to the end of it, and we were all really sad. It was like, you have to say goodbye, and everyone was in different corners of the UK. So we thought, actually, you know what, this was really fun. Let's meet up more often. And so the idea of the meetup came to light. We thought, hey, let's start meetup. I was kind of quite jealous of my mum being able to go to these awesome meetups by like IBM, other companies like that, where sort of on a school night, late at night, so I couldn't come, and they had like pizza and drinks. It was really awesome. So us as young people were like, actually we want our own version of that with pizza and drinks, and so we did the pilot for the Young Coders Meetup. So I'm going to talk a bit more about that. So we started off with 3 months of development with our core group of young coders who had been to the Young Coders Conference, and using agile methods. We developed a nice course and stuff, and thought about how we're going to make sure that the Young Coders Meetup is all youth-led, and how we're going to ensure we had diversity and inclusion at the heart of it. And so we launched in January 2019 with our first session on machine learning. It was kind of one of the best sessions we did. It was like really fun. We used machine learning for kids, and although it was simple, there was like really loads of possibilities, and my brother's actually done some more projects with that, which are quite fun. So you can go and talk to him if you want to know a bit more about that. We also, then, the next week we did cybersecurity, and we did a really good job of actually feminising cybersecurity, because one of our other aims was to achieve a 50-50 gender split, and so that was really awesome. We did like a league table thing with Secure Code Warriors. Then we did Python and Circuit Playgrounds, and actually Sam Page is here who ran the session, and that was again one of the really awesome ones, because of course Python is one of those key coding languages, and so we had a bit of fun with that, and Circuit Playgrounds, everyone took one home. Then we sort of had a break for Easter, because it was the holidays, and we went to UAL, University of the Arts London's new playground space in Camberwell, and it was really cool. Quite a lot of the older members weren't there, and it was quite a young group, but they came up with some really cool ideas around diversity and inclusion. And we didn't really do much coding at that one. It was more of like a thought-provoking Young Coders Meetup. Then we did cross realities and extended realities. Again, a really cool one. We used something called co-spaces. And should not be machine learning, should be narratives. But we also did then one on narratives because it's really important as young people to be able to tell your story. Okay, so when we came to the end of it, we did YCM 6 and we sort of summed it up. We sort of kind of did our last finished off a couple of things, just had a jam at the end, did a bit of a show and tell. And then about a few months later, we went to the Scratch Conference Europe, just across the road in the Churchill, Cambridge site. And we presented our feedback from the Young Coders Meetup. And so, again, one of our real focuses was that diversity and inclusion. And actually, we did a really good job. So this first graph is sort of our diversity stats. So we had 25% Asian, 47% BME, and the rest was, and then 28% other. And that was really cool because we really wanted to focus on making sure we had a good representation of BME because it's really underrepresented in many of the events we've been to, like Coder Dojo, Raspberry Jams, and Code Club. And then on the other side of it, we achieved a 50-50 gender split across the whole of the event. So, like, every single event, we totted it up, and then the whole total, we got a 50-50 gender split, and that was really awesome. So, out of it, not only did we create a really cool community, we also had some really awesome ideas for apps. And so I'm going to talk to you a bit about one app that we've now taken into the next stages. So this is a signed word app, and here is Imran. And he's actually our first deaf young coder who came to the launch of our Young Coders Meetup in January. And I partnered with him for the machine learning workshop. And we got talking about the difficulties that he has with his literacy skills as a deaf learner. And so doing a machine learning workshop, we kind of thought, hey, we can help Imran out here. So we started off by making a very quick sort of prototype using fingerspelled letters in sign language. So we sort of tried it out. We found there were a couple of limitations, although it was a really great tool. We found that we needed many more training pictures, and also because sign language takes into account the whole body and movement, it was kind of tough just using images. And so we kind of thought, hey, we're going to have to explore this further. And so we took it outside of the YCM and we pitched it to the Swift community because we did our research and we found out that Swift, which is used for making iOS apps, was kind of one of the best languages to do machine learning in. And so we got mixed results. We went to iOS, Chronic Skills Matter, mixed results. On one hand, we met a really awesome coder, a Swift developer who worked on BBC iPlayer called Tim Condon. And we actually linked back up with him later, and he ran a really awesome 2-day intense course for our YCMers on Swift and developing apps. But also, we kind of found that the Swift community, they weren't specialists in machine learning. We found that we kind of had to then go and find out a bit more about the machine learning side of things. And so far, I was actually really lucky. So this is what I kind of did in the summer. So I was really lucky to be invited by UAL and Creative Computing Institute to go on a machine learning masterclass for the creative industry, which was really awesome, and learned all sorts of things about machine learning. It was with someone from the industry called Mckessie, and he was really awesome. Taught us about all sorts of things, really interesting about the scope of machine learning. So it's not just used for mathematical things. It's also about using art, GANs, deep fakes. So that's quite interesting. And we got a really good base understanding of sort of machine learning, the concepts behind it, and how we might do some coding in it. And so from that, he gave us a little bit of a tip on how we could do it using something called dynamic time warping, which is where you sort of measure how data sets change over a period of time. And then you relate that to something else that's also changed in a similar way. And so I decided I'm going to do my own research. I had 2 weeks during the holidays where I went to the Bash Festival and Festival Code. And I sort of just went and developed a very quick prototype using something called pose detection software, which is essentially detecting key points on the body. So there's about 35 in each hand, about 22 on the face, and 12 for the rest of the body, because sign language takes into account all of that. And then instead of taking an image feed or a video feed, I could then cut it down to a couple of points on the body. And so, as well as that, I looked into PyTorch. I did a couple of PyTorch tutorials. That was really useful, and we're actually looking more into that now as a group of young coders. So then, after exploring the idea with Imran, we took it back to the Young Coders Meetup, and we formed a really awesome group of young coders, and we entered the Longitude Explorer Prize, which is run by Nesta, and this year they're looking at AI apps for good. And so we took the idea, we formed an awesome team, and although Imran isn't there, we're still working with him as the product client, and so we've been talking to him and tailoring the app around his experience. So going forward, well, we've actually linked with someone called Professor Bolden from the University of Surrey, and he is the leading person in computer vision, and he's currently working on this idea of simultaneous sign language translation, which is like translating sentences. And so we talked to him, we had a chat, and he's told us a couple more approaches that we can take using something called hidden Markov models, which is about mapping out all the probabilities and then working out which sign is most probably being signed into your machine learning model. We're then looking at upskilling using Udacity. So from my own research, I found a really awesome course with Udacity, and we put it out to our Young Coders Meetup. Everyone's done a little bit of it, we've all got a little bit stuck, and so we just reached out to the PyTorch community, and they've come back really awesomely. In fact, it was like 3 days ago, they've already come back saying that they'll help us out, they'll run a little workshop with us. So, YCM at the Tech Exchange, so we're going to do a little PyTorch study session, which will be really awesome, so that we can move on with that, and yeah, that's going to be great. So sort of reaching out to the community is really awesome. And then also we want to link with UAL to do a focus group research, because of course Imran is just one deaf person in a big deaf community, so we want to reach out to other people in the deaf community, see what they think about the app and what feedback they might have, and we want to do that with UAL so that we can do it under the university's ethics of focus groups, and do it properly. And also, very excitingly, really pleased with this one, we might even, well, hopefully we'll be setting up a Young Coders Meetup charter in Canada this May/June. We've been invited by a company called Brilliant Labs, and they're going to take us to some maker fairs there. We're going to meet some awesome young people and hopefully expand the community to set up a Young Coders Meetup over there. Yeah, thank you. Oh, and do follow us on at YCM_UK. Visit our website. It's not quite yet complete because we've only put it up in the past, I reckon, past 3 months. Then also, if you want to know a bit more about the Signed Word AI app, that's this link here. We've got a bit about our journey, a bit more about our journey so far and what it is, and then hackfemo.com is my website.
Sign language is not universal. In fact, sign language is not the same as UK sign language, it's not the same as Scottish sign language. How are you coping with that?
So we've had a big think about this, and it was actually one of the things that we looked at we did a bit of market research, and we looked at other solutions that people have come up with, and they're specialised for one type of sign language. And so since we were using Swift and we knew it was really powerful, we kind of thought, actually, perhaps we can do it on the device, and then it makes it more accessible. And also with that, we kind of thought the idea, well, why don't we provide 100 base words in British Sign Language, but then allow the user to be able to input their own sign language words into the machine learning model, and then they can do it for different dialects, they can do it for different countries, or even, because in the coding sort of scene, there aren't words for all of the things that we do, so especially with machine learning, we found that Imran, our deaf coder, doesn't really know the words that go with it, so he has to come up with new words with his signer. And so that'd be another interesting thing that you could put in there and learn new words.
I was quite impressed with your attitude to diversity and what you achieved. Did you have to do anything especially difficult, complicated to try and target the underrepresented groups?
Well, what we did, I'd say we did quite a bit of outreach. So before we started Young Coders Meetup, we went into underrepresented communities, into lower socioeconomic groups, and we made people aware of the Young Coders Meetup and how awesome it was. And also with the gender split, it was pretty simple actually. We did because we wanted 20 Young Coders at each event, we sort of did 10 female Young Coder tickets and 10 male Young Coder tickets, and they all filled up pretty quick. And then we sort of said, hey, more people can come. But yeah.
So were you turning away vast numbers of white middle class members?
Well, we got as many people as we could on board, and by the end we had way more than 20. We had about 32 or something. So we had quite a few people jumping on, and essentially, even if they just came to one event, it's about being part of the community. Yeah.
Just think about answering your question. I think that so I kind of chair the Young Coders Meetup, the parent side of things, and I think that we have a really visible female kind of core kind of presence, and it just attracts female girls because they know that.
Once you've got a role.
Yeah, and they like it, and what we find is we try to invite lots of female speakers, like some fantastic teachers, but we really, if we had someone to speak, we really tried to make sure it was female. So when we did the cybersecurity session, we had cyber analysts, female cyber analysts. We did a remediate the flag session. It was run by women. And then the girls that came loved it, and then they kind of invited their friends who were female as well, and it just somehow built this momentum that it kind of went a little bit away from robot hacks that we love and we've been used to, and we went a little bit away from that, and we did more things about UX experience and design, and about narrative, building that narrative, and somehow we didn't need to send lots of people away. But we did let everyone know that was the focus. I think as it gets bigger, it gets harder.
Yeah.
But it was great to have this 10 male tickets and 10 female tickets was the base that we built from, which was really nice. Would you agree?
Yeah. Cool. Thank you.